channel. In this video we are starting right at the beginning of crochet, so this lesson is designed to give you a solid foundation before you move on to actual stitches and projects. We'll go over what crochet is and what you can make with it, the different hook types and sizes, yarn types and weights, how to read yarn labels, and the essential tools you'll need to get started. We'll also cover how to hold your hook and yarn properly, as well as the basics of tension. At the end, we'll put everything into practice with a simple exercise, making your very first chain. So let's get started. Let's start at the very beginning. What is crochet? Crochet is a form of textile art where you create fabric from yarn using a single hook. It belongs to the wider category of fiber arts, which also includes techniques like embroidery, weaving, and knitting. In crochet, fabric is built step by step using loops of yarn that interlock to form stitches. And each stitch is created individually, allowing you to gradually shape and structure your work as you go. This makes crochet a very versatile craft, where simple stitches can be combined to create everything from flat fabric to complex three-dimensional forms. Because of this structured-based approach, crochet is especially well suited for making textured and shaped objects such as plushies, decorations, accessories, and fantasy-inspired designs. In simple terms, crochet is a way of building fabric and shapes from a single strand of yarn, one stitch at a time. What can you make? Crochet is incredibly versatile, and once you understand the basics, you can create a wide range of items across different styles and levels of complexity. On a practical level, crochet can be used to make everyday objects like scarves, hats, sweaters, and bags. These pieces are often made from repeating patterns that form variable fabric with different textures and stretch depending on the stitch type. It's also widely used for home decor. You can crochet blankets, cushion covers, coasters, baskets, and decorative elements that add texture and personality to a space. Because crochet is so flexible in shaping, it works especially well for both flat and structured designs. One of the most popular areas of crochet is amigurumi, which is the art of making small stuffed objects. This includes animals, dolls, food, and fantasy creatures. Amigurumi is where crochet really starts to feel like sculpting, since you're building 3D shapes stitch by stitch. And beyond that, crochet is also used for artistic and experimental designs. Things like flowers, lace pieces, wall hangings, and fantasy-inspired creations, where shape and texture matter more than function. In the end, crochet is not just about making useful items, it's a way of building anything you can imagine from a single strand of yarn, whether that's something practical, decorative, or completely creative and character-based. If you want to start crocheting, the most essential tool you'll need is a crochet hook. Crochet hooks come in different types and sizes, and both of these affect how your project looks and feels. Hooks are usually made from materials like aluminium, plastic, wood, or ergonomic rubber handles. Metal hooks are smooth and fast to work with. Wood or bamboo hooks have more grip, which can help beginners control their tension, and ergonomic hooks are designed to reduce hand strain during longer projects. The hook size you choose directly affects the size and tightness of your stitches. Hook size refers to the diameter of the hook head and is measured in millimeters. Hook sizing systems vary by region and brand. The metric system is the most accurate and recommended for consistent results across patterns. A smaller hook creates tighter, denser fabric, which is often used for amigurumi so that stuffing doesn't show through. And a larger hook creates looser, more flexible fabric, which is commonly used for garments. Most crochet patterns will recommend a specific hook size, but it's always important to adjust depending on your personal tension and the yarn you're using. Even a small change in hook size can noticeably change the final shape and size of your project. In general, hook size and yarn work together as a system. Choosing the right combination is what helps you achieve the intended structure, whether you're making a soft plush, a structured shape, or a loose, airy fabric. Apart from the hook, another essential you'll need is yarn. Yarn is categorized by thickness, also called yarn weight. This ranges from very fine lace yarns, which are almost thread-like, up to super bulky yarns, which are thick and fluffy. Fine yarns are used for delicate, detailed work such as lightweight garments or intricate decorative pieces. Moving up, sport and DK yarns are slightly thicker and very versatile. commonly used for clothing, accessories, and smaller crochet projects. DK yarn in particular is often considered a standard because it gives a good balance between stitch definition and ease of use. Medium weights are thicker again and are often used for blankets, sweaters, and structured items like plush toys. At the thickest end, bulky and super bulky yarns create very fast-growing, chunky fabric that is often used for oversized blankets or statement pieces. However, yarn weight is only one part of the story. Yarn can also be processed in different ways, which changes its texture and performance. For example, mercerized cotton is cotton that has been treated to make it stronger, smoother, and slightly shiny. This type of yarn often gives very crisp stitch definition, which is great for detailed patterns or decorative work. In contrast, untreated cotton has a more matte and natural look, but can feel softer and slightly less structured. Wool yarns can also vary depending on how they are spun and processed. Some are tightly spun for durability and smooth stitches, while others are loosely spun or brushed to create a fluffy, soft texture. Acrylic yarns are synthetic and often designed to mimic natural fibers, offering durability, affordability, and a wide range of textures, from very smooth to very plush chenille-style yarns. Specialty yarns like chenille or velvet yarn are designed to be extra soft and fluffy, with a fuzzy surface that creates a plush toy-like finish. These are especially popular for amigurumi because they give a very soft, cuddly appearance, although they can sometimes hide stitches more than smoother yarns. So overall, choosing yarn is not just about thickness, it's about texture, processing, and the final look you want to achieve. The same crochet pattern can look completely different depending on whether you use a smooth mercerized cotton, a soft acrylic, or a fluffy chenille yarn. Let's move on to yarn labels. They contain a lot of useful information and can help you choose the right materials for your project. While the exact layout may vary between brands, most yarn labels include several key details. One of the most important pieces of information is the recommended hook or needle size. Manufacturers test their yarn and suggest a hook size that typically produces a balanced fabric. This is a great starting point, especially if you are unfamiliar with a particular yarn. However, you can always adjust the hook size depending on the result you want to achieve. The label will also tell you the fiber content of the yarn. This shows what the yarn is made from, such as cotton, wool, acrylic, polyester, or a blend of multiple fibers. The fiber content affects the yarn's softness, durability, stretch, warmth, and appearance. Another important detail is the yardage or meterage, which indicates how much yarn is contained. Two yarns may have the same weight, but very different lengths, so checking the meterage helps estimate how much yarn you need for your project. Most labels also indicate the yarn weight category, such as lace, DK, worsted, or bulky. This provides a general idea of the yarn's thickness and what types of projects it is suited for. You may also find a gauge recommendation, which shows how many stitches and rows fit within a specific measurement, usually 10 centimeters or 4 inches. Gauge is particularly important for garments and projects where size matters. And finally, many yarn labels include care instructions, such as whether the yarn can be machine washed, tumble dried, ironed, or should only be hand washed. Following these recommendations helps keep your finished projects looking their best over time. To get started with crochet, you only need a few basic tools. While there are many helpful accessories available, most projects can be completed with just a hook, yarn, and a handful of simple supplies. So the most important tool is, of course, the crochet hook, and you'll need yarn. A good pair of scissors is also essential for cutting yarn and trimming loose ends during and after your project. To finish and assemble crochet pieces, you'll need a yarn needle, sometimes called a tapestry needle. These needles have a large eye that allows yarn to be threaded through easily and are commonly used for weaving in ends, sewing pieces together, and adding embroidered details. Another very useful tool is a stitch marker. Stitch markers help you keep track of specific stitches, the beginning of rounds, increases, decreases, or important points in a pattern. While they are especially helpful for amigurumi and projects worked in continuous rounds, they can be useful for almost any crochet project. Depending on the type of project you are making, you may also need additional materials. For example, amigurumi often requires stuffing and safety eyes, while variable projects may require buttons, zippers, or other notions. Although crochet tools can range from very simple to highly specialized, the basic supplies are inexpensive and accessible. This makes crochet a hobby that is easy to start, while still offering endless possibilities as your skills grow. One of the first things beginners often wonder is how to hold the yarn and crochet hook. The good news is that there is no single correct way to do it. As long as you can comfortably control both the yarn and the hook while maintaining a consistent tension, your technique is perfectly valid. Most people hold the hook in one of two ways. The first is the pencil grip, where the hook is held similarly to a pencil. And the second is the knife grip, where the hook is held like a knife. Both methods are widely used and neither is inherently better than the other. It simply comes down to personal preference and comfort. Personally, I use the knife grip as shown, but I encourage you to try both and see which feels more natural. The yarn is typically held in the non-dominant hand, and the goal is to guide the yarn and create consistent tension as you work. Many crocheters weave the yarn between their fingers or wrap it around one or more fingers to create resistance. Personally, I wrap the yarn around my fingers as shown, which helps me maintain an even tension while still allowing the yarn to move smoothly. A simple way to practice tension is to hold the yarn in your preferred position and gently pull on it. The yarn should feed smoothly with a slight resistance, tight enough to stay controlled, but not so tight that it becomes difficult to work with. If the yarn slips through too easily, your tension may be too loose. If it's difficult to pull, it may be too tight. One of the most important aspects of crochet is maintaining an even tension. If the yarn is held too tightly, stitches can become difficult to work into and the fabric may become stiff. If the yarn is held too loosely, stitches may become uneven and the project may lose its intended shape. Now let's practice a bit. To get comfortable with maintaining consistent tension, we'll start with a simple chain stitch. First, you need to create a starting loop. I'll show you two common ways to do this. So this is the first method. And this is the second method. Once you've created your loop, hold the yarn in your preferred position and use your hook to pull the yarn through the loop, forming a new loop. This is the basic motion you'll repeat to build a chain. Continue chaining slowly and focus on keeping each stitch as even as possible. Don't worry about speed. This exercise is all about control and consistency. If your tension changes, you'll notice your chain becoming tighter or looser, which is completely normal at this stage. You can repeat this exercise until it feels comfortable and natural. The chain you create can even be used as a simple bracelet or decorative cord once you're done. Try experimenting with different tension levels. Make one chain slightly tighter and another slightly looser, then compare how they look and feel. Over time, you'll start to recognize what even tension feels like. The goal is to keep your stitches steady and make each chain link roughly the same size as you build rhythm, control, and confidence. I hope this video helped you understand the basics of crochet and gave you a solid starting point for your journey. With these foundations, you can now begin to explore different stitches, shapes, and techniques and start building your own projects with more confidence. Crochet is a skill that grows with practice, so don't worry if things don't feel perfect right away. Every stitch you make helps you improve. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next part of my series.